My point in this is to show you that in our dreams, we know that if you think about it, because you probably maybe you've never thought about it before, but the dream reality is an illusion. This physical reality is also an illusion. And that spooky action at a distance, which Einstein used those words to describe entanglement, is showing us that space is an illusion. Okay, so, and what's happening is we're shifting our perspective from believing that we're in the dream to knowing that we're the consciousness that's holding the dream of life. And that's going to have significant impact on the way we live our life. When you dream at night, you think you're the dream self, right? You believe, unless you're lucid in the dream, where you wake up in a dream and you know that you're dreaming and you continue in the dream. Unless you're lucid dreaming, you believe you're the dream self. You think that the people in your dream, the objects in your dream, you lose awareness of the self that's laying in bed dreaming the dream, and you think that you're the dream self until you wake up. In the dream, you experience space and you experience a material world that seems very real. When you're in the dream, you experience a distance between the objects in your dream. You experience a distance between you and another person in the dream. So the distance that you experience, space, is just an illusion, actually, right? When you wake up, where do all those objects in the dream go? Did they just dissolve back into your mind, your consciousness, your field of awareness? They just, whoosh, they're gone, right? But they seem so real when you were in the dream. Well, that's what we're doing here too. We're in another dream in the waking state, in our physical world that we experience. And in the Vedic culture, the Vedic spiritual culture, they call this Maya, M-A-Y-A, the illusion that space-time is real, the illusion that there's separation between objects in the world that we experience. And in Tibet, the Tibetan yogas of dream and sleep, there's a book called The Tibetan Yogas of Dream and Sleep that describe how the dream state and the waking state are the same. They're illusions. And humanity is waking up to this. And our physics has been showing us this, but we didn't know how to interpret it because we come from the mindset that we're all separate. Just because we experience separation, it looks as though we're separate, but we're actually not. And that's what our science is showing us. So science is showing us that it's really this empty space that we're all in that is creating the material world. Okay, so check out the physics of Nassim Haramein. He just released a groundbreaking paper called The Origin of Mass and the Nature of Gravity that describes just how this seemingly empty space, which is really the mind of the universe, is creating the material world. And the material objects that we experience, particles that we experience, are really just this empty space curling in on itself, creating a spin, which then creates an electromagnetic field or a field, and it's that field that we're pushing up against. And that's what creates what we experience as hardness. That's why I don't fall through this chair as I'm sitting here talking to you. That's why I can't put my hand through a wall unless I'm in a particular state, which I've actually done. Humanity is starting to wake up to this, and the science is there. And in fact, it's been there for a really long time, but we didn't understand how to interpret it. And so it was kind of just something that they brushed aside. But last year, the Nobel Prize went to 3 physicists in the field of physics that for the Nobel Prize in entanglement. And what entanglement is it's where they have 2 electrons or 2 photons, now they're connected, and then they separate them and they shoot them off in space. So they're separated by a distance in space. And then they measure one here, and then instantaneously they know what the other one's doing as soon as they stimulate this one. Now, Einstein called this spooky action at a distance, because how can these seemingly separated particles be still entangled? Right? How can we stimulate one here or do a measurement here and know exactly what this one is because we measured this one? How is that possible? Well, when you're coming from the perspective of the human being, then that seems weird. It seems like spooky action to distance. But when you understand that you are the container of the dream, then you understand that that whole space of the dream is you, right? So it's one consciousness, one container holding the dream. Now these two objects are inside your mind. And so you can see the connection. Okay, that might take a little bit to think about. But what's happening, and it's really exciting, is that humanity is shifting our understanding of who we are. We thought this reality was real. We thought we were separated from each other by space, but we're really not, because we're not the physical bodies. We are spirit having a dream of reality. We are all individual souls. We're bodiless souls. The physical body is manifesting inside of us, just like our dream body is manifesting inside our consciousness when we dream at night. My point in this is to show you that in our dreams, we know that if you think about it, because you probably maybe you've never thought about it before, but the dream reality is an illusion. This physical reality is also an illusion. And that spooky action at a distance, which Einstein used those words to describe entanglement, is showing us that space is an illusion. Okay, so, and what's happening is we're shifting our perspective from believing that we're in the dream to knowing that we're the consciousness that's holding the dream of life. And that's going to have significant impact on the way we live our life. For one, we're going to understand how connected we all are. When I look at you, you're in my awareness, and therefore you are in me, right? Because who am I if not my own awareness, right? You don't exist above my awareness or below my awareness. You're in my awareness. And because I am my awareness, I'm not the physical body, I'm the container of awareness, then you are me. So it's going to bring us closer, because we're going to understand that everything that I experience in my awareness is actually me. And that eventually we're going to get to the point where we're going to understand just how we are actually creating that. And then we're also going to understand that when we harm another, we're harming ourselves, right? So it's these pieces of wisdom from our spiritual traditions now start to take on a whole meaning. Because if you understand that the field that's outside of you is actually you, then you understand when we say things like, what you blesses you. Treat the other like yourself, right? Because they actually are you. So there's no benefit to you to harm another, because you're harming yourself. You're not the physical body. We're shifting our awareness from knowing ourselves as the physical body to knowing ourselves as consciousness, as spirit. And that's going to bring humanity closer together. And it's going to make the world a better place.